Good morning friends, happy Monday. I hope that you have had a really nice weekend. So today I have a homeschool related video for you, and that is in the form of a Dollar King haul. Over the years I have found a ton of really great things to homeschool from Dollar King, and all really reasonably priced. Now my son is 5.5, so these are aimed at younger children, but a lot of them could be used for older children with science experiments or art projects or things like that. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you a fun science experiment that you could do with your child. So my son, like I said, is 5.5 and he will really enjoy this. But you could definitely use this science experiment for older children and just go into more detail with it. So most of the things that I love getting from Dollar King is kind of science experiment based items and craft items. I have occasionally seen workbooks there for children, but today these are all kind of hands-on items that my son Elijah is just going to love. So I'm just going to jump right in. They're in no particular order, just however I put them on the table after getting them out of the bag. So the first item is this storage box. It is A5 size and it was $3.99, and it's just a basic plastic tub. When I bought this, I remember I had a really specific idea in mind on what I wanted to use it for, but I actually got this stuff about 2 weeks ago and it's just left my mind. But you could use it for all sorts of things, whether it be collections, like nature collections, or flashcards if you use flashcards, or art supplies. It's just a really handy kind of box to have, I think, in the homeschool room, and it feels like it's quite nice quality as well. So the next thing that we picked up was this plastic paint palette, and it was $2, and this is really fun. When Elijah does painting, I don't know if your children like to do this as well, but he loves to mix colors. So generally I try to buy higher end quality paint supplies or art supplies. I just feel like it just works for our family. I find that he is more engaged in the art project if it's really high quality, if it's a really beautiful color, or if it paints easily, or if the paintbrush has a little bit of weight in it and feels nice in his hand. He's just much more engaged. So we generally just buy kind of the main colors, like red, yellow, blue, and red, yellow, and blue. That's all. And sometimes white to make lighter colors. But he just loves mixing colors, and often I just give him a plate and he mixes colors on a plate. But I just thought that this would be fun, a fun addition to our homeschool room, and something different to mix colors in, because if he's doing it on the plate they can all get mixed together and it becomes this big jumble of colors and ends up being this kind of brown color, which he doesn't mind. But I thought that this would be something fun to try out. He could make a bunch of different colors. The next thing that I picked up was this studio canvas. It was $2.99. I don't often buy canvases because Elijah is quite happy just painting on cardboard or on regular paper, but sometimes we run out of inspiration for different art activities, and a studio canvas just really gets us back in the groove because it's so thick, so he can use a lot of paint if he wants to. He can glue things onto it. It's just a little bit sturdier than regular paper. The next item was a basic clipboard, and this was $2, and I have gone through so many of these. We just really love them. So I think that they're great for clipping paper on, and that way he can do any sort of drawing or write. I mean, he doesn't write, but kind of like kids style writing, and take it with him wherever because it's got a hard surface. But it's also really great for being outside. One of our favorite things to do is to go out with a picnic rug into the garden, take some paints and some paper, and just spend a few hours outside under our trees and paint and create together. And he really loves it. So these are really good. The reason we've gone through quite a few is because he uses a lot of paint on his paper. Sometimes I don't get it off quick enough and the paper sticks to it and it's hard to clean. But these are pretty great and pretty well priced, $2. The next items that we got were these wooden tulip kits, and they were $2.50. We are coming out of winter here in Australia and heading into spring, and I thought that these would be a really fun activity for us to do together. We could paint them or glue glitter onto them, you know, just something to make our house nice and pretty for spring, and they're wooden, so I think they're nice quality. Now the next thing that I picked up were these, it's the Chef Basics brand, and they're just mini wooden spoons. They were $2 and there is 4 in a pack. Now these are really good if you've got younger children who enjoy scooping practice, you know, scooping rice or little beans or things like that. They're really good like fine motor skills practice. And I plan to use them. He's kind of past that 5.5. He still enjoys it sometimes, but he doesn't stay engaged with it as long anymore, just because he's that bit bigger. But we do a ton of science experiments, and these will be really his favourite science experiments is with vinegar and bicarb soda, the way that they bubble. We do a ton of different things with them, with food colouring, and these will just be a fun addition to add, you know, to scoop in the bicarb soda, or just to involve somehow. They'll just be a fun addition to our homeschool room. The next thing that we got is something that I just repurchased over and over again, and these are these, I feel like I said these too many times then. The paint pipettes. They are $2 and there are 6 in the pack. So we use these if we have like a bed of bicarb soda on a plate and some vinegar with food colour, and we suck up the vinegar with food colour and squirt it onto the plate of bicarb soda, and it creates this beautiful bubbly mess. So that's what we have used them for, but I bought them because I'd like to try them out, you know, for other activities, other science experiments and craft activities. And $2, I can't remember if I said. Something very similar to those, but just a little different, are these stain droppers. These are 4 in a pack and they were $2.50, so they're going to do a similar thing. I wondered, I've not opened these yet, but the reason that I got them was they feel a little bit nicer quality. I mean, I think that they might be glass, so obviously if you've got really little ones, be mindful and supervise, or maybe just don't get them. But I wondered if you could take these black caps off, because my only issue with the paint pipettes is that they can be a little hard to clean, and I just thought I could give these a bit more of a thorough wash if I could take the ends off. But I did buy them just for a similar purpose as the paint pipettes, but just for something a little different. The next item are these bottle droppers. There are 2 in a pack and they're $2.50. And again, I just got these to use in science experiments and craft activities. He really enjoys these kind of dropper activities, and they're so good for their little, I actually never know how to say it. Is it a pincher grip or a pincer grip? Because I feel like it doesn't have a H, but it's kind of the pinching motion. So, or maybe it does have a H. I don't know. I just always forget how to say it. But I think that that's really, I've got an itchy nose, so these are really good for kind of pre-writing activities. So, I mean, you know, there are things like colouring in and mazes and drawing, and that's all really good for pre-writing as well, because it, you know, strengthens their little finger muscles. I think that these are really good as well, you know, particularly using the thumb and pointer finger, just getting nice and strong, and they don't even really realise that it's you know, learning and work and good for their muscles, because they're just having fun creating whatever they're doing. Now, similar to the first plastic container that I showed you, I had something specific in mind for this container. In fact, I bought 2 of them, but I cannot remember what it was. Sometimes I'm just walking around in Dollar King and I just get struck with inspiration, like, oh, this would be great for this, and that would be really good for this. And then I get home and I'm thinking, wait, what was I thinking? What was I going to do with it? So these were $2 and I got 2 of them, and like I said, I can't really remember what I was going to use them for, but you could definitely, something this morning that I was thinking about was you could, if you were doing, say, some math work, and say you're looking at the number 4, you could put some sand or some flour or something in one of the squares, and they could practice drawing with their finger. And then they could use some tweezers or something to put 4 beads, count out 4 beads and put them in one of the tray. And they could roll 4 little balls of Play-Doh and go out into the garden and collect 4 rocks to put in the other. So you could definitely do some maths work with this. Otherwise, if you've got younger kids, these are really fun to present Play-Doh activities on. You could put a ball of Play-Doh and some little tools or something. So there are lots of different ideas and opportunities to use this. I've just forgotten what my specific one was, but I bought 2, so it must have been a good idea. I'm just gonna let my subconscious kind of ponder on it, and hopefully it comes back to me. And then I also got this one tray, dropping you a bit. I also got this tray, which was $2, and a similar kind of tray. I do remember my idea for this one was to put some sand or some flour or something in one half, and like a flashcard or some kind of card in the other half with either a letter or a number on it, and practice writing that letter or number in the sand or flour or salt or whatever you choose. I thought that would be good for that. So that was the specific idea, but I just also think that presenting activities on trays is a really lovely way to do it. It kind of keeps it all contained. It makes it feel special and like effort has gone into it. And I do notice a difference with my son. If I go to the effort of presenting something beautifully, or even just, carefully, it doesn't have to be over the top beautiful or anything, but if I've just gone to a bit of effort with the presentation, he really does kind of get the sense that, hey, this is something we can really enjoy and we can take care of and do it well. So that I really do like presenting on trays, and I've done that from when he was really little. If it was some Play-Doh, or if it was some blocks, or if it was whatever activity I've thought of, even if it's cutting and pasting, putting some strips of paper and a pair of child-safe scissors on a tray, and he can snip little squares. He's so much more engaged with that than if, say, I just slapped down a piece of paper on the table and threw some scissors down. I mean, not that you should throw scissors, but you know what I mean. So the last item that I got is similar to the last one I just showed you, which is another tray, and this one was $2, and I just really liked the print. I thought coming up to summer, it was just kind of a nice summery print. It's this kind of, is it gingham? Is that what the pattern is? But anyway, I just really liked it, and this will be nice to present a bit bigger activities on, putting a beaker down or some whatever it is. It will just be really nice to present it on, or even to take down into the garden for morning tea, because one of the things I love about homeschool is that you're just kind of going at your own pace, and you can live slowly and intentionally and enjoy morning teas down in your garden, or whatever you enjoy to do at home. But that is something that we really like to do. So even if we're doing, say, tea time and poetry, could put some scones with jam on the tray, and some warm milk for him and a cup of tea for me, and take it down to the garden and read a nice book together, which is a whole different experience now that I have another little one, and he is just starting to not be particularly content with just sitting still or laying down on the mat. He's 7 months, so I think he's beginning to think, hey, I'd like to be amongst everything, and maybe I'll think about crawling one day soon. So, but it's still a really nice thing to do, and something that we love doing together. So that is it for my Dollar King haul. So my total came to $46.97, but included in that is like $16.50 of something un-homeschool related. So it wasn't too expensive for how long these will last and how much use that we'll get out of them. Anyway, I hope that encourages you to go and check out your local Dollar King or reject store. Or I don't really have a reject store that's super close to me, so I don't go and check that out. Dollar King is Dollar King is just much more convenient for where I am, but I think it's really worth going and checking out. They've also got like scrapbooks and writing books and, you know, like notebooks and things like that. They do also have quite a large supply of stationery items, coloured pencils, markers, crowns. I haven't tried any of those. Like I said, I tend to buy kind of higher quality art supplies, and not, you know, super top end, but just a little bit higher quality, just because I find that he stays more engaged with them. But they may be really great, so one day I'll have to give them a try just to check it out. So if you regularly shop at Dollar King for any homeschool supplies, I would love to hear from you about what you find, what your favourite finds at Dollar King are. And yeah, I will speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great week. Goodbye. I decided to set this experiment up out in the shade of our orange tree because it is just such a gorgeous day, and we are trying to spend as much time out here as possible. So you're going to need some baby oil, or just some oil of some kind. I chose to get baby oil because it's clear, and I got just the Coles brand. I don't think it was any more than a couple of dollars, but I just felt like for this experiment clear oil would work best. Oh, and I found this experiment on Pinterest. I just find so many fun activities on there. Then we have some small jars of water with food colouring in. So I've just got an assortment of food colouring, and I've presented it on our tray, and I'm just using some of these little paint pipettes that I just showed you in the haul. So the idea is that you suck up some of the coloured water and drop it into the oil, and you can watch how the colours settle and how the water and the oil don't combine. So you can get into as much detail with your child as you want about this experiment and really kind of explain the science behind it, or it can just be a fun activity. It's really up to you. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.